Okay, college basketball begins today. We have a ton of games. Some of them on neutral sites, some of them on home campuses. So, without further ado, here we go. At the time of this recording, the following games that we are about to do will be played before the podcast is posted. So that's why we are recording these picks now. All right, the first game today, 8 o'clock in the morning on YouTube. Yes, YouTube. Winthrop, Queens. My line is Queens by 3. And it is Winthrop 4.5, total 163.5. So Queens is favored, Winthrop's favored because they're in the Big South, not the Atlantic Sun. Give me Queens plus 4.5, plus 190 outright. The game's in South Carolina. But that's not where Winthrop plays. If that's the case, then I have to change my line, which is absurd. Let's see. Oh, it is Winthrop's home. Yeah. So, never mind, guys. I'll pick Queen to cover, but Winthrop is gonna win because they're home. I didn't realize that was a home game for Winthrop. My apologies. Right off the back, a mistake. Right off the bat. All right, next up, 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock on YouTube. Bradley and St. Bonaventure. My line is Woj by 1. St. Bonaventure by 1. Bradley's a 2.5 point favorite. Total 140.5. I know Bradley's one of the favorites in the Mountain or Missouri Valley. Give me St. Bonaventure plus 2.5 and plus 114 outright. There's your dog. 11:30. Arlington Baptist, East Texas A&M skip. Texas A&M San Antonio Lamar skip. 1 o'clock College of Biblical Studies Prairie A&M skip. 1:30 also on YouTube. Omaha Murray State from the Sanford Pentagon in Sioux Falls. Obviously, nobody plays here. This is a popular venue. Sometimes the Summit League tournaments here. So you would think Omaha's a little bit of an advantage. I have them as a 1 point favorite over Murray State. That's the game. And it is Murray State 4.5, total 149.5. Again, I think this is based on the past. Give me Omaha plus 4.5 and plus 184 outright. So I like all the dogs so far. And 4 o'clock on YouTube from Sioux Falls. Northern Arizona Drake. My line's Drake 5.5. It's 10.5. Total's 143.5. Give me Northern plus the 10.5. That is way too high. All right, 6:30 Fox Sports 1. Quinnipiac number 5 St. John's from the Lou in the Bronx. My line St. John's 25 is 26.5. Total's 157.5. I'm gonna go with the over. St. John's is loaded offensively. Georgia State, Eastern Michigan. I have Eastern by 3, and it's 3.5, 149.5. Woo! These lines are very close to what I'm projecting. Over. High Point Furman. My line's a High Point by 2, and it's 3.5. Total 153.5. Whoa! That's another one that's close. Under. That's too high. Southern Miss and Buffalo. My line's Buffalo by 7, 2.5, and 153.5. I'll lay the 2.5 with Buffalo. IU Indy, Ohio State. My line is Ohio State by a whopping 41. It's 33.5. Totals 171.5. I'm going to lay with Ohio State. Coppin State, Maryland, Big Ten Network. Mine's Maryland 20.5. And it's 27.5. Totals 139.5. I'll take Coppin State plus the points. Morgan State, Georgetown. Mine's Georgetown by 31. And it is Georgetown 27.5, total 154.5. So I have to lay to 27.5 with Georgetown. All right, here's a big one. 7 o'clock. TNT from Vegas. Number 3, Florida. Number 13, Arizona from T-Mobile Bowl Arena. My line is the Gators by 12. I know it's lower than that. I saw the line already. It's 3.5 on ESPN bet, but I'm going to check FanDuel, see if it has the same. Yeah, Florida 3.5 total 163.5. I'll lay the 3.5 with Florida. I just think they're better. They're the reigning champs, and I wouldn't be surprised if they won by double digits. That's what my projections say. New Haven number 4 UConn. Welcome to Division 1 New Haven. My line's UConn by a whopping 56.5. And it is, I know it's probably Jack because it's UConn. 42.5. Totals 145.5. I'll lay the big number with UConn. Southern at number 14. Arkansas on the SEC Network. Lands Arkansas by 37. And it's 26.5. Totals 150.5. I'll lay with Arkansas. Mercer number 18. Tennessee. Lands Tennessee 34. And it is 28.5 and 143.5. I'll lay with Tennessee. Colgate number 22 Michigan State. Mine's Sparty 18.5. And it's 21.5 total 144.5. I'll take Colgate in the points. That is, I'm surprised that it came out that low, and same for my projection. Central Arkansas, number 25, North Carolina. My line's UNC by 45, and it is 31.5 totals, 157.5. I'll lay with Carolina. Missouri, Howard. And by the way, guys, I didn't project all the games tonight, but I did as most as I could. So I apologize for that in advance. My line's Howard as a 16.5 point home underdog to Missouri. And it's 20.5 total 158.5. I'm going to take Howard getting the points. It's a lot of points. Coastal Carolina, Western Michigan. Mine's Western by 3. There's a lot of Mid-American Sun Belt games tonight, which I noticed on the schedule. 2.5 and 145.5. I'll take the over. Arkansas State, Ohio. Mine's Ohio by 11. And it's 3.5 and 159.5. That's low. I'm going to lay with Ohio. Marshall, UMass. My line is Marshall by 7. And it is UMass 4.5 total 151.5. I think that is high. Give me Marshall plus 4.5 and plus 160 to win outright. So that's my first underdog outright of college basketball this year. Wofford, George Mason. Mine's George Mason 18.5. And it is 14.5 and 139.5. I'm going to lay the 14.5 with George Mason. South Alabama, Toledo. Oh, he skipped the game. Western Illinois, Radford. I don't have the line for that, so I apologize for that one. And then South Alabama, Toledo. And I have Toledo by 7. And it is... I assume Toledo's favored. Yeah, only 2.5. Toledo's 150.5. LA with Toledo. App State, Central Michigan. I have Central by 1. And Central is 1.5. Total 142.5. I'll take the over. Texas State, Bowling Green. I have Bowling Green by 1. And it's 4.5. Total's 144.5. I'll take Texas State plus the points. Fairfield, Penn State. I only have Penn State by 7. Penn State basketball is no bueno. So that's a decent, they might lose a bye game candidate potentially. Usually if you're at the bottom of your rankings prediction for your league, then you are likely to lose a bye game. Penn State 15.5, total 148.5. I'll take Fairfield in the points. Troy, Kent State. My line's Kent State by 5. And Kent State is Kent State 3.5, total 142.5. Over. Wagner VCU. Mine's VCU 26.5. And it's 25.5, total 131.5. I'll take the over. Lafayette St. Joe's. My line's St. Joe's 22.5. And it's 13.5, total 103.5. I'll lay it. Louisiana Ball State. Mine's Ball State by 11. And it's 4.5, totals 141.5. I'll lay the points there too. Bryant Siena. My line is Siena by 9. And it is Siena 9.5, total 151.5. Over, even though it's a total that's high. James Madison, Akron. I have Akron by 3, but I know James Madison's probably favored because they have a good reputation in the sport. Oh, Akron's a huge favorite. 8.5. Whoa. Total 153.5. I'm more than happy to be betting on James Madison plus 8.5. Are you kidding me? I did not expect that. I thought maybe James Madison would be that big of a favorite, but okay. Maybe I undervalued Akron. Who knows? Navy Presbyterian. I have Navy by 12. And it's 3.5, total 141.5. I don't like laying points on the road, but I'm doing it here. Western Carolina, Cincinnati. I have Cincy by 21. And it is I can't find that game. 22.5. And the total is 143.5. I'll go over. Charleston Southern Virginia Tech. I have Tech 19.5. And it's 18.5, total 144.5. I'm over. Binghamton, Syracuse. I have Syracuse 21.5. I think Syracuse is going to surprise some people. And it is exactly 21.5. So it was 153.5. I'll go with the over. Youngstown State, Pitt. My line is Pitt 14.5. And It's 14.5, exactly. Total 145.5. I'll go over to NC Central, NC State. Mine State by 46. And it's 31.5, total 145.5. I'll lay it. BCFAU on ESPNU. My line's BC only by 2.5. And it's Florida Atlantic 1.5, total 148.5. I'll take BC plus the 1.5 and plus 110 outright. Stetson, Rhode Island. My line's Rhode Island by 5. And it is 18.5. Whoa, total 152.5. I'll take Stetson in the points. That's a lot. Niagara, Duquesne. My line's Duquesne 16. And Duquesne. That game, well, you can't find either. 17.5, total 139.5. I'll go over. That's low. Canisius, Dayton. My line's Dayton 34. And it is 25.5, 142.5. I'll lay the points with Dayton. New Hampshire, Clemson. I have Clemson 33.5. And it's 29.5, total 146.5. I'll lay it with Clemson. Rider, Virginia. My line is Virginia by 30. And it is 27.5, total 147.5. I'll lay it with Virginia. LIU, Notre Dame. My line is Notre Dame by 26. And it's 15.5, total 135.5. I like Notre Dame. I'll lay the points. Delaware, Bucknell. My line's Bucknell 1.5. And it is exactly right. Bucknell 1.5 to 148.5. I'll go over to 7:15 Marist, Xavier. Mine Xavier 17. And it is 12.5 total 138.5. I'll lay with Xavier. Holy Cross, Providence. My line's Providence by 40. It's 23.5 total 152.5. I'll lay with Providence. Jersey Battle, St. Peter's, Seton Hall. From the Prudential Center. My line's Seton Hall 15. It's 13.5 total 128.5. I'll go over. That is way too low of a total. Mississippi Valley State, UAB. My line's UAB 32. It's 35.5 total 145.5. I can't believe I'm doing it. I have to take Miss Valley against the spread. Boston University Northeastern. My line is BU by 8, but Northeastern's a 2.5 point choice. Total 142.5. I'll take BU plus the 2.5 and plus 118 to win. Tennessee Tech, Western Kentucky. I don't have. Bellarmine, Georgia. My line is Georgia 36, and it's 22.5 total 150.5. I'll lay the points. Maryland Eastern Shore, Georgia Tech. I have Georgia Tech 26.5. It's 29.5 total 140.5. I'll take UMass in the points. Air Force Belmont. My line is Belmont 6.5, and it's 15.5 total 144.5. I'll take Air Force in the points. 8 o'clock CBS Sports Network. Lehigh number 2 Houston. Mine's Houston by a whopping 40, and it's 36.5 total 136.5. I'll lay with Houston. North Dakota number 15 Alabama. I have Bama 35.5. And it is 35.5 and 170.5. I've got a couple of these lines exactly. I'm going under. I think that's too high. Fairleigh Dickinson, number 69, will save Iowa State by 35. And it is 37.5 total 147.5. I'll take FDU and the points. Green Bay, number 19, Kansas. I have Kansas by a whopping 40. And it's 30.5 total 152.5. I'll lay with Kansas. Bethune-Cookman, number 20, Auburn. I have Auburn by 27. And it is 24.5, 153.5. I'll lay with Auburn. Campbell, number 24, Wisconsin. My line's Wisconsin 34. And it's 20.5 total, 150.5. I'll lay that with Wisconsin, Northwestern, and Texas, or Northwestern State, Texas A&M. I don't have for you. Gardner-Webb, Minnesota. I have Minnesota 16. And it's 25.5 total, 146.5. I'll take Gardner-Webb in the points. Florida A&M and South Florida have USF by 30. And USF is giving 26.5 total is 152.5. I'll lay with South Florida. All right, let's go through the rest of the slate. I did project one game, and it's an obvious one. It's a big one, too. Rest of 8 o'clock. West Georgia, Nebraska, Lipscomb, Vandy, Hofstra, UCF, Yale Monroe, Northern Illinois, Detroit, Mercy, UIC, UAlbany, Marquette, Chicago State, DePaul, Hampton, Milwaukee, Indiana State, Charlotte, Mercyhurst, Northwestern, UT, Rio Grande Valley, Baylor, American Wake, Tarleton, SMU, Southeast Missouri State, St. Louis, Cleveland State, Loyola, Chicago, Maine, George Washington, Jacksonville, Miami, Southeast Louisiana, Ole Miss, New Orleans, TCU, Oakland, number 7, Michigan at 8:30 on Fox Sports 1. Big Ten, Eric Jackson State, number 17, Illinois. Sanford, Tulane. St. Francis, Oklahoma. Utah Tech, South Dakota. 9 o'clock, South Carolina State, number 11, Louisville. Texas Southern, number 21, Gonzaga. South Dakota State, Merrimack. Incarnate Word, Colorado State. Purdue, Fort Wayne, Grand Canyon. Towson, Loyola, Maryland. San Jose State, Utah. Montana State, Colorado. And here's the game I had to project. 9:30 TNT. Villanova, number 8 BYU from Vegas. My line is BYU by 7. And it's 9.5, total 153.5. I'm going to take Villanova getting to 9.5. I think that they may hang around this game. I know BYU is going to be very good. If this game was obviously in Provo, BYU would be a bigger favorite. So I'm going to lay the 7 with BYU against Villanova. All right. Cal Poly, USC, North Dakota State, Oregon State, Idaho, Wazoo, 10 o'clock, St. Thomas, St. Mary's, Denver, Seattle, Cal State, Bakersfield, Cal, 10:30 Big Ten Network, Eastern Washington, number 12, UCLA, SC Upstate, Cal Baptist, and 11 o'clock is Arkansas Pine Bluff and UW. Okay, now we'll move on to NASCAR from the weekend. We will go over the results from championship weekend. We'll start with the truck from Friday night from Phoenix. Your winner of the race, Corey Heim, second Ty Majeski, third Caden Honeycutt, fourth Lane Riggs, fifth Roger Caruth, sixth Jake Garcia, seventh Corey LaJoie, eighth Chandler Smith, ninth Tyler Reef, 10th Jack Wood, the rest Matt Mills, Stephon Parsons, Matt Crafton, Tanner Ankrum, Nathan Bird, Luke Baldwin, Spencer Boyd, Greg Van Alst, Frankie Muniz, Clayton Green, Tanner Gray, Caleb Costner, Cole Butcher, Grant Effinger, Tony Breedinger, Connor Mozak, Bailey Curry, Brent Cruz, Ben Rhodes, Andres Perez de Lara, Gio Ruggiero, Mason Mazzeo, Daniel Hemrick, and Dawson Sutton. And then your championship winner, Corey Heim. And then second Ty Majeski, third Caden Honeycutt, fourth Tyler Ankrum. And then the Xfinity on Saturday night from Phoenix. Your winner of the race, Jesse Love. Second, Eric Almirola. Third, Connor Zilch. Fourth, Brandon Jones. Fifth, Justin Allgaier. Sixth, Sammy Smith. 7th, Tanner Gray. 8th, Sheldon Creed. 9th, Austin Hill. 10th, Justin Bosnagor. The rest, Harrison Burton, Kyle Sieg, Carson Kvapil, Corey Day, Nick Sanchez, Christian X, Dean Thompson, Brendan Poole, Brendan Queen, Nick Leitz, Ryan Ellis, Connor Mozak, Anthony Alfredo, Leyland Honeyman, Blaine Perkins, Josh Williams, Parker Retzlaff, Danny Dye, Stephon Parsons, Joey Gase, Garrett Smithley, Josh Belicki, Jeremy Clements, Glenn Reen, Parker Emmerling, Dawson Cram, Ryan Sieg, and Jeb Burton. And then your top 4, Jesse Love, Connor Zilf, Justin Algier, Carson Kvapel. And last but not least, the Cup Series. Your race winner was Ryan Blaney, second Brad Keselowski, third Kyle Larson, fourth Joey Logano, fifth Kyle Busch, sixth Denny Hamlin, seventh Josh Berry, eighth Michael McDowell, Ryan Preece, ninth, 10th Chase Elliott, the rest Chris Bell, Chris Buescher, Ross Chastain, Justin Haley, Alex Bowman, Eric Jones, Ricky Stenhouse Jr., Chase Briscoe, Daniel Suarez, Austin Dillon, Ty Gibbs, Todd Gilliland, Riley Herbst, Shane Van Gisbergen, Cole Custer, Tyler Riddick, Noah Gragson, Carson Hosfar, Zane Smith, Cody Ware, John Hunter Nemechek, J.J. Yeley, William Byron, Austin Cindric, Ty Dillon, Casey Mears, Bubba Wallace, and A.J. Allmendinger. And then your top 4, winning yet again another Cup Series title, Kyle Larson. Coming in second was Denny Hamlin, third Chase Briscoe, and fourth William Byron. All right, so goodbye to NASCAR for the season, and we'll see you in February. The sport with the shortest off season, I swear. It's them and soccer's short too. MLS is short too. And baseball short in terms of the 4 big ones. The longest off season's obviously football. But like of the other sports, I think NASCAR probably has the shortest off season, and then MLS is pretty short as well. Okay, now we'll do the news and notes for today. So we talked about it earlier. Jayden Daniels dislocated his elbow already. Dan Quinn came out and took responsibility for leaving him out in a blowout game. And it's just unfortunate for Washington, as now they are back to being, let's face it, irrelevant. I mean, it's unfortunate because they should be better next year with him coming back, but that team's just old. And maybe they wouldn't, and to be honest with you, they lose that game with a healthy Jayden Daniels. They're just not a good football team. They're old, they're slow, and they really need to rebuild that roster around Jayden Daniels if they want to compete with the Eagles in that division long term. So we talked about Luka and LeBron and Austin Reeves all being out tonight against the Blazers. Reeves is due to right groin soreness. Dylan Harper injured his calf against the Suns, who beat the Spurs over the weekend and handed them their first loss. The Atlanta Braves name a new manager. They promote bench coach Walt Weiss. Walt Weiss been around for a while. And we'll see how he does. The Braves have a decent roster. They're going to be, I mean, in theory, they should be better with guys coming back from injury and banking on guys being better than last year, like Acuna and Strider. Edwin Diaz opts out of his contract, will be a free agent as he leaves 2 years and $37 million on the table. So Gabe Kapler got promoted to the GM of the Marlins. He was assistant GM last season with Miami. Another opt-out, Robert Suarez on the Padres, 2 for $16 left on his deal. Michael King declines an option. He'll be a free agent. Um, Joe Alt out for the rest of the season with a high ankle sprain. That is brutal for the Chargers. They're 6-3, but they let Tennessee hang around, for crying out loud. And this team lost to the Giants already without Joe Alt. So this team's in trouble. Marshawn Lattimore tore his ACL. He's out for the season for the Commanders. The Rams are optimistic about Puka Nacua. He's to undergo scans on a rib injury. Tucker Kraft tore his ACL. He's out for the season for the Packers. That's not cool for their offense. They'll miss him. Luke McCaffrey going on IR. He'll be out for the year in all likelihood with a broken collarbone. That's brutal. And he ran back the opening kick for the Commanders last night, and they heard the Luke chant. Another brutal injury for the 49ers. Michael Williams, first round defensive end, out for the season with a torn ACL. That's brutal. He got hurt in that game, and then he left, and then the Giants got some garbage time points out of it. And then the Bills tore an Achilles. Bills DE tore his Achilles. Michael Holt. CJ Stroud left the game against Denver yesterday with a concussion. There's talks he might not play on Sunday. Samaje Perine doubtful to return against the Bears with an ankle. Kayshon Boutte left the game due to a hamstring injury against the Falcons. Aaron Rodgers flexed his hand in warm-ups as he looked like he was dealing with an issue pregame. Terry McLaurin was 2 weeks due to the quad injury. He might not be. If I'm them, just sit him for a year. If Jalen Daniels is out, why it's not worth bringing him back. Jerry Jones says the Cowboys made a trade. He won't name player, but says he'll address some things that have been our shortcomings. We needed to see it to believe it, Jerry Jones. If you don't land a notable name, then I don't know what to tell you, Jerry Jones. You're just full of shit. And I'm not even a Cowboys fan, obviously, but things that he's been doing has just been pissing me off from a standpoint of just as like a fan of the sport. You get somebody excited for content. Just as a podcaster, you get me excited for possible content, and then you get nothing. The Dolphins are open to a Minkah Fitzpatrick trade as he's drawing interest from multiple teams, as they should. Maybe they get something for him like they did the other time. Tua Tagovailoa will be a $99.2 million cap hit, as that's the cost of the Dolphins moving on from him in the offseason. Dylan Harper missed multiple weeks with a left calf strain. That's brutal for San Antonio. Are you fucking kidding me? The Browns more likely to buyers as they're looking to trade for quality young players. Give me a break. You're like 2-7, 3-6. I don't want to hear about the Giants being a buyer anymore either. You fucking lost to the 49ers in a game that really wasn't that close. And you don't have Neighbors. You don't have Scadaboo. I understand you trying to trade for somebody to help development of Jackson Dart. I get it from that standpoint, but you're wasting future assets to go help your rookie quarterback develop. I understand that from that regard, but maybe the only way I'd be okay with it is if it's like a buying and selling thing, or if you trade Kayvon Thibodeau to, say, a team that could use him and you get a good wide receiver prospect back or something like that could help Dart. Or you make two separate trades and you get a guy that can use a change of scenery or something like that. Not Jalen Waddle because because I don't think he's worth trading for. That's like a Patriots win now kind of move. Maybe that's the Giants in a year from now. the Giants trading for somebody without, like, I mean, say if they're just buyers and aren't sellers, that's ridiculous. That's like the Bears trading for Montez Sweat a couple years too early. That the same thing happened to the Bears a couple years ago, that they foolishly traded for Montez Sweat with hopes of the future. But how's the Bears defense looking now? Not good with Montez Sweat. And on the flip side, Washington probably should have kept Montez Sweat because that defense stunk last year. But then again, if you're the Giants, you don't want to make the same mistake Washington made with Montez Sweat a couple years ago either. So I do get the Giants not selling and buying, but yesterday's game was just so sad and pathetic. And the Giants are the Giants, and they should not be buyer. They should clean house, trade everybody not named Dart, Scatterboo, Neighbors, Abdul Carter, and Brian Burns. And I guess keep Andrew Thomas too. But yeah. I have a problem with the Browns being a buyer. That's my point. I have a problem with the Giants being a buyer, unless if it's, like I said, for like a change of scenery, wide receiver, and maybe the other team gets some defensive help. Or if it's like an asset back in a trade kind of thing. Like how you get a prospect in baseball back for a veteran you trade, or a young player for an NBA star you trade kind of thing. Or a young hockey prospect in a trade. Something like that. And the Dolphins already made a trade. Jalen Phillips goes to the Philadelphia Eagles. Once I get the package, I'll read it down. Kayvon Thibodeau rips defensive performance. He says unacceptable after loss against the Niners, and he's right. The Ja Morant trade market is not robust as he is. So insiders have doubt about a deal if Grizzlies decide to move him. And that's because of his behavior. Let's face it, he's the Draymond Green of point guards. Josh Hart is playing through an injury as Mike Brown admits that Josh Hart's hand problem is news to me, but that's Josh Hart's fault. Josh Hart obviously wants to be out there playing and not sitting, but in reality he should sit and rest that injury because he's been playing poorly this year, and Josh Hart is not making excuses with his hand injury. That's what I like about Josh Hart. Like, he's like, no excuses. I'm always out there playing my best or trying my best. But let's face it, he's playing poorly because he has a hand injury, but he's not letting that be an excuse. But they should sit him, especially tonight against a bad Wizards team. They should sit him. Like, they're going to beat the Wizards without Josh Hart. Come on. It's not like they're playing the Cavs and they need Josh Hart. Oh, yeah, they beat the Cavs without Josh Hart. Daniel Jones was being made fun of on the internet for turning back in the Giants. Daniel Jones. That was bound to happen, obviously. Shohei is eyeing a three-peat as he's already thinking about next season at Dodgers Parade. Of course he is. There was a fan that called this shot on Ohtani back in 2012. He said, Shohei Ohtani, remember the name. He can possibly be the next phenom in the MLB. Hope Dodgers do get him. Wow. Sometimes a tweet from so long ago turns into something so viral, and then you become famous for it. It could be good or bad. ICAF explains shortly as he says he was told to stay close to third before crucial ninth inning play. St. Bonaventure denies a report about Woj as he says issues statement on false news about Woj getting into altercation with officials. Yeah, I guess it's just the media being the media. The Contemporary Hall of Fame ERA ballot, Bonds and Clemens among 8 candidates. Aaron Judge was at the NYC Marathon with us. He was waiting for his wife Samantha at the finish line. But yeah, 2026 third round pick is what the Dolphins get for Jalen Phillips. I think the Dolphins could have gotten more for Phillips, maybe a second, but it's not a good third round. Maybe I think he's worth a second. The late second would have been a good price for the Dolphins to get, but great trade for Philly. He helps address the pass rush, which isn't the same as it used to be. The Bengals want a first in a Trey Hendrickson trade, as they're still a top draft choice for him, as they should. Joel Embiid fined 50 grand for lewd gesture towards crowd and loss against the Celtics. I'm not surprised. Cardi B was at the Patriots game hanging out with Robert Kraft. Bad news for Nebraska. Dylan Raiola out for the year. He suffered a broken fibula against USC. That is absolutely brutal. Very sad for Nebraska. Who knows if they'll ever win a game the rest of the season with him out. A lot of people compared him to Mahomes, but I still need to see it. The Auburn Tigers fired Hugh Freeze, 15-19 over 3 seasons. We'll see where they go next. A lot of SEC teams with coaching moves: Florida, LSU, now Auburn. And that's it for news and notes. Okay, last but not least, my best bet of the day, brought to you by FanDuel. I'm going college basketball tonight, and I'm going to lay the 3 or 3.5 with the Gators against Arizona. I just don't think Arizona is any good. And not that they're not any good. I mean, they're not on Florida's level. I know they're 13th, but I really don't trust them against the reigning champs. Maybe they cover, but not win. But I don't see them beating the Gators. So I'm going to lay 3.5 with the reigning national champion Florida Gators against the Arizona Wildcats from Vegas as my best bet of the day. And oh, by the way, the Cowboys -3 pick is the last of the Fab Five that I said I was going to tease for today. So there you have it for the show, and I'll be back tomorrow recapping everything. Look at everything tomorrow as well with a lot of college football. And we also have Election Day tomorrow, so I'm going to do some predictions with that as well. Hope you guys have a great day, everyone.